Chapter 1. The Hidden Cost of Constant Noise. In a world full of noise, silence becomes a superpower. We live in a time where silence is rare and distraction is constant. From the moment we wake up, the noise begins. Messages, notifications, emails, news headlines, and the endless scroll of opinions. We're surrounded by sound, not just the kind we hear, but the kind we absorb. And whether we realize it or not, it's costing us more than we think. The modern world is louder than ever. And the price we pay for staying plugged into it all the time is subtle but profound: our energy. Not just physical energy, but mental clarity, emotional peace, and the inner stillness that allows us to feel connected to ourselves. Most people don't notice this cost at first. It happens slowly. You check your phone first thing in the morning. A few texts, maybe the weather, maybe some bad news. Your mind's already racing before your feet touch the floor. You scroll while eating breakfast. You consume 5 different people's lives before you've even lived 5 minutes of your own. Then you walk into the day carrying this noise, in your thoughts, in your mood, in your nervous system. And this becomes normal. But normal doesn't mean healthy. The energy drain you don't see. Not all exhaustion comes from doing too much. A lot of it comes from processing too much, too many choices, too many voices, too much information. You're not just tired at the end of the day because of what you did. You're tired because of what you allowed in. Imagine your energy as a bucket. Every time you expose yourself to noise, the kind that doesn't align with your values or priorities, it pokes tiny holes in that bucket. And drop by drop you leak. A notification here. An argument in the comments there. A comparison you didn't ask for. A headline designed to trigger you. A scroll session that leaves you feeling less than. You don't need to be in a toxic environment to feel drained. You just need to never give yourself a break from input. The noise becomes the default. The scary part isn't that the world is noisy. It's that we become so used to it that silence feels uncomfortable. The moment things quiet down, we reach for distraction. We avoid stillness like it's a threat, when in fact, it's our greatest source of renewal. We've been trained to believe that if we're not stimulated, we're wasting time. That doing nothing is laziness. But the truth is, doing nothing might be the most powerful act of self-preservation in a world that tries to pull you in every direction. We've confused being informed with being overwhelmed. We've confused being connected with being consumed. And we've forgotten what it feels like to just be present, undistracted, aware. You don't have to live this way. Here's a hard truth: the world isn't going to get quieter for you. It's not going to stop trying to grab your attention. It's your job to step out of the noise and protect your own mind like a sanctuary. That means making conscious decisions about what you let in. Not everything deserves your awareness. Not every voice deserves a place in your mind. Not every alert deserves your response. Your energy is sacred. And if you don't guard it, the world will spend it for you. How to begin protecting your energy? Audit your input. At the end of the day, ask yourself, what did I consume today that lifted me? What drained me? Write it down. Make it real. Awareness is the first step. Start and end your day without noise. Don't touch your phone for the first and last 30 minutes of the day. Create a buffer. Give your brain space to think, feel, and breathe. Protect your attention like a currency. Ask before every action, is this where I want to spend my energy right now? Reclaim silence. Take short walks without music. Sit for 5 minutes without doing anything. Let your mind be quiet. Let your body rest. Create noise-free zones. Designate spaces in your home or your schedule where distraction is not allowed. No phones, no media, just presence. Silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. When you cut the noise, something strange happens. At first, you might feel anxious. But restless. That's normal. That's your brain detoxing. You've been wired to expect input every few seconds. But if you stay with the stillness, if you resist the urge to fill it, you'll start to hear things again. Your intuition, your needs, your clarity, your creativity. Silence is not the absence of life, it's the return of it. When there's no noise, you remember what matters. You start to hear your own voice again, the one that's been drowned out by algorithms, headlines, and highlight reels. That voice is the compass. It knows where you need to go. But it can't scream over chaos. The real cost of noise is yourself. Think about this. If your mind is always full of other people's voices, where is yours supposed to go? If your day is filled with reacting to distractions, when do you act from intention? The real cost of noise isn't just tiredness. It's disconnection. You lose touch with your own truth. You forget your own values. You live by other people's priorities. And one day, you wake up and wonder why you feel so lost, even though you've been busy all this time. You can change that. Not by running away from the world, but by choosing where your energy flows. By stepping out of the current and into presence. Make room for what matters. Cutting the noise doesn't mean cutting joy or beauty or inspiration. It means making space for it. It means clearing out the clutter so you can focus on the few things that truly matter. Your health, your peace, your purpose, your people. Noise distracts. Stillness connects. The more noise you remove, the clearer your life becomes. You don't need to escape the world. You just need to stop letting it steal your power. Energy flows where attention goes. And your attention deserves better. Chapter 2. Energy is currency. Spend it wisely. You can always make more money. You can never make more energy. Every day you're spending energy. Whether you realize it or not, you're trading tiny parts of yourself, your time, your attention, your emotions, for experiences, thoughts, conversations, and tasks. And just like with money, some investments bring value, while others leave you drained, frustrated, or worse, empty. But here's the hard truth. Most people spend their energy like it's limitless, like it doesn't matter where it goes, until one day, they wake up feeling depleted, burned out, and disconnected, wondering why they feel so off. The answer is almost always the same. You've been spending too much on things that don't return anything meaningful. Your energy is currency. And if you don't track how it's used, it will be used for you, by other people, by your phone, by your habits, by distractions. The key to protecting your energy isn't just avoidance. It's becoming a conscious, wise investor. What you pay for without realizing. You pay energy every time you worry about something you can't control. Engage in conversations that go nowhere. Obsess over someone else's opinion. Scroll endlessly through content that adds nothing to your life. Say yes when your soul screams no. Try to fix people who don't want to be fixed. Carry guilt for things you've already healed from. And often, you do this without noticing. But the cost adds up. Just like you wouldn't give your bank password to a stranger, you shouldn't hand your emotional energy to every stimulus that crosses your path. Learn to recognize energy thieves. There are two types of energy drains in life. External and internal. Stop sign external thieves. Toxic relationships. Never-ending obligations. Digital overstimulation. Environments full of chaos and noise. These drains are easier to see. But there's another, more dangerous category. Exploding head internal thieves. Overthinking. Perfectionism. People-pleasing. Fear of judgment. Trying to control everything. These are the ones that live in your head and hide behind good intentions. They whisper, you should be doing more, or, you're not enough yet. But they're draining you in silence. Your energy budget. Just like you'd set a financial budget, you need an energy budget. Every day, you wake up with a limited amount of mental, emotional, and physical power. It's not infinite. You can stretch it, yes, with good habits, sleep, and food. But you can't escape the fact that there's a limit. So ask yourself, what's worth spending energy on today? What doesn't deserve it anymore? Be honest. Some things may have felt important once, but now they just take. Letting go of them is not failure, it's wisdom. Spend on what gives back. Great investors don't just avoid bad deals, they know what brings long-term returns. You should treat your energy the same way. Invest in deep rest, not just sleep, but true mental stillness. Movement and health, not for appearance, but vitality. Relationships that uplift and respect your boundaries. Work that feels aligned, not just impressive. Time alone where your thoughts can settle. Learning, growth, and things that light your inner fire. These actions don't just use energy, they return it. They build you up. They compound over time. When you spend your focus here, you begin to feel more alive, more stable, more like you. The power of the pause. Before you say yes to anything, a request, a meeting, a conversation, a favor, ask yourself a simple question. Is this how I want to spend my energy? Not, can I? Not, should I? But, is this worth it? Pausing gives you space to respond instead of react. And that small shift changes everything. Because reacting is energy that leaks. Responding is energy you own. Boundaries are energy filters. People often think boundaries are walls. But really, they're filters, a way to protect your energy while still staying open to life. They help you decide what gets in and what stays out. Setting boundaries doesn't make you harsh. It makes you healthy. It doesn't push people away. It allows the right people in. Start small. Don't answer messages immediately if they interrupt your peace. Say, I'll get back to you tomorrow, instead of rushing. Block time for yourself in your calendar and protect it like any other appointment. Don't feel guilty for needing space. Guilt is a lie. Space is sacred. Energy is who you are. Your energy is not just something you have, it's something you are. When it's scattered, you feel scattered. When it's protected, you feel clear, confident, and grounded. The modern world has conditioned you to give everything away. Your focus, your emotions, your rest, your presence. But no one can protect your energy for you. That's your job. And it begins with awareness. You don't need to isolate yourself or become hard. You need to be discerning. Gentle with others, fierce with your boundaries. Open-hearted, but not wide open to every input. Your energy is sacred. Your peace is priceless. Protect it like your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. Try this today. List your top 3 energy drains, and next to them, write one small boundary you can create. List 3 energy-giving habits, and schedule one for today. Say no to one thing that doesn't serve your peace. Just one. Start there. Each of these is a small decision. But small decisions build identity. And your identity is what shapes your energy long-term. Spend energy like it's gold, not loose change. Because the quality of your life depends on how you spend it. Chapter 3. The power of saying no without guilt. Every time you say yes to something that drains you, you say no to something that could build you. One of the most difficult and liberating skills you'll ever learn is how to say no, and mean it, without guilt, without apology, and without second-guessing yourself. We're not taught to say no. We're taught to be nice, to be agreeable, to be available, to be helpful. And while kindness is a strength, unguarded availability is a trap. Because when you say yes to everything, you slowly say no to yourself. You can't protect your energy if you're always leaking it through people-pleasing. You can't move forward if every step you take is in someone else's direction. At some point, if you want peace, if you want clarity, if you want power, you have to learn how to close the door gently but firmly. The silent destruction of overcommitting. Most people don't burn out from working on what they love. They burn out from constantly doing what they don't want to do, things they felt pressured into, things they didn't have space for, things they agreed to out of fear. They burn out from being too polite. Here's what it sounds like. Sure, I can help with that, even though I'm exhausted. Okay, I'll come, even though I need rest. Yes, I'll take it on, even though it's not my responsibility. These aren't generous acts. They're sacrifices of your well-being. And over time, they leave scars, invisible ones. Guilt becomes a reflex. Obligation becomes your compass. And you start to forget what you actually want. The guilt trap. Guilt is one of the biggest barriers to protecting your energy. It tells you, you're selfish. You're letting people down. You should always be available. But here's the truth. Guilt is not the same as wrongdoing. Feeling guilty doesn't mean you did something wrong. It often means you did something new, something that finally prioritizes your peace. The first time you say no, you'll feel guilt. The second time, discomfort. But by the third, you'll feel power. And that power will set the tone for everything else. You have to teach yourself, and the people around you, that your time, your space, and your energy matter. What saying no actually means. Saying no doesn't mean you don't care. You're rude. You're cold. It means you're clear. You're intentional. You're honoring your capacity. You're not saying, I don't want to help. You're saying, I can't give fully if I'm running on empty. Boundaries are not a rejection of others. They are a declaration of self-respect. Practice saying no with strength and grace. You don't need to justify or explain yourself excessively. Simplicity is powerful. Here are a few ways to say no that protect your energy without burning bridges. I appreciate you thinking of me, but I'm not available right now. That doesn't fit into my priorities at the moment. I have to pass this time, but thank you for understanding. I'm focusing on fewer commitments so I can give more to what matters. Notice something? You're not being defensive. You're being clear. When you say yes to everything, you say no to yourself. You can't do it all. And you don't need to. That's the lie the modern world tells you, that your worth is measured in how much you take on, how much you give, how often you show up. But your value is not in how stretched thin you are. Your value is in your presence, your focus, your alignment. And none of those things can exist when you're running around trying to please everyone. You don't owe anyone your exhaustion. Why this matters to your energy? Every yes carries a cost. It costs you time, attention, and emotional space. When you say yes to something that doesn't align, it's like swiping your energy card for something you don't need and overdrawing your account. Protecting your energy means filtering your yes. It means asking, is this aligned with my values? Does this feel like peace or pressure? Am I saying yes out of love or out of fear? Fear-based yes are the fastest way to drain your soul. The ripple effect of boundaries. When you start saying no with strength, something amazing happens. You stop resenting people. You show up more fully to the things you do say yes to. You build trust with yourself. You inspire others to do the same. People don't respect you more when you're always available. They respect you more when you have direction, conviction, and self-respect. And those who can't handle your no? They were never really there for you. They were there for your availability. How to rebuild the habit of self-respect. Start here. Say no once this week. Even if it's small. Feel the discomfort. And do it anyway. Pause before saying yes. Create a new rule. If it's not a full-body yes, it's a no. Remind yourself, protecting your peace is not selfish. It's survival. Celebrate your clarity. Every boundary is a step closer to the life you want. Boundaries don't cage you in. They free you from what was never meant to hold you. Saying no isn't rejection. It's redirection, back to your purpose, your energy, your peace. Chapter 4. Boundaries, the art of inner preservation. You can't control everything around you, but you can choose what gets through to you. Boundaries are often misunderstood. People think they're walls. Cold, rigid, defensive. But real boundaries aren't about pushing others away. They're about protecting what's sacred within you. In a world that constantly pulls at your attention, demands your energy, and invades your space, boundaries are not just helpful, they are essential. They are not a luxury. They are self-respect made visible. And yet, so many people struggle to set them. Because we've been taught that prioritizing our own well-being is selfish. We've been told that saying no makes us cold. That having limits means we don't care. But here's the truth. Without boundaries, you don't just lose time, you lose yourself. Boundaries are not about control, they're about clarity. Boundaries don't mean you're trying to control others. They mean you're taking responsibility for your own life. You're saying, this is what I need to function well. This is how I protect my energy. This is how I stay aligned with who I am. When you lack boundaries, your emotions become reactive. You get pulled into other people's chaos. You say yes when you mean no. You explain yourself too much. You tolerate what drains you. And it all comes at a cost, your peace. Boundaries are the quiet, powerful way you say, I honor my limits. I know my worth. I choose to preserve what's inside me. The signs you need stronger boundaries. You know your boundaries are weak when you feel resentful after helping others. You're often overwhelmed and stretched too thin. You feel guilty saying no, even to things that exhaust you. You allow others to speak or act in ways that make you feel small. You put everyone else's needs ahead of your own, always. These aren't personality traits. They're symptoms of unguarded energy. When you don't have boundaries, your inner world becomes a public hallway, open to any energy, any mood, any demand. And eventually, you stop feeling like your life is yours. Boundaries start with knowing yourself. You can't set boundaries until you understand what drains you, what uplifts you, what behaviors cross the line for you, what you actually need to feel safe, calm, and focused. This self-knowledge isn't selfish. It's foundational. It helps you stop living by default and start living by design. Ask yourself, what do I need more of? What do I need less of? Where am I overextending? What do I keep tolerating that quietly hurts me? The 3 core types of boundaries. Time boundaries. Your time is finite. If you don't protect it, the world will take all of it. Set limits on availability. Schedule time for you. Say no to last-minute demands that break your rhythm. Emotional boundaries. You are not responsible for how everyone feels. Learn to separate your emotions from other people's reactions. You can be empathetic without carrying their weight. Energy boundaries. You're allowed to be selective about what you engage with. Walk away from conversations that deplete you. Step back from people who feed on chaos. Filter what you consume online. These boundaries don't isolate you. They strengthen you. How to set a boundary without guilt. Step 1. Get clear internally. Know what feels wrong before you explain it to anyone. Step 2. Communicate calmly and firmly. I'm not available at that time, but I hope it goes well. That conversation doesn't feel healthy for me right now. I'm focusing on myself more these days and I need space. Step 3. Hold the line, kindly, but without apology. You don't need to defend your peace. You need to embody it. And that means staying grounded even when others resist. Expect pushback and stay centered. Not everyone will celebrate your boundaries. Some will test them, especially those who benefited from your lack of them. That's okay. The discomfort of someone else's reaction is nothing compared to the discomfort of betraying yourself. You're not responsible for how others feel about your limits. You're responsible for being honest, clear, and consistent. If someone leaves because you set a boundary, they were only ever there for your compliance, not your truth. Boundaries create room for what matters. Boundaries aren't about saying no to everything. They're about saying yes to the right things. They create space. For us. For focus. For meaningful connection. For aligned decisions. When your boundaries are strong, you feel lighter. More present. More stable. You stop being pulled in 10 directions, and you start moving forward with intention. You no longer feel guilty for protecting your peace. You feel proud. What healthy boundaries feel like. Calmness instead of chaos. Clarity instead of confusion. Peace instead of pressure. Ownership instead of obligation. It's not about being hard. It's about being clear. About your energy. Your needs. Your values. Start small, stay consistent. Try this. Choose one boundary you need to set, with yourself, with a person, or with your schedule. Write down a clear sentence of how you will express it. Practice saying it out loud, calmly and confidently. When the moment comes, say it. Hold it. Breathe. Each time you do this, you strengthen the muscle of self-respect. And that muscle will carry you through far more than you think. Boundaries aren't barriers, they're bridges to a healthier you. They don't limit love. They protect it. They protect you. Chapter 5. Stop leaking energy through comparison. The fastest way to lose your power is to measure it by someone else's life. Comparison is one of the quietest and most dangerous ways you drain your energy. It doesn't scream. It whispers. It tells you, slowly and persistently, that you're not enough. You don't even realize it at first. You're just scrolling. Just looking. Just checking. But each time you look at someone else's highlight reel, you subtly begin to shrink your own worth. Each time you measure your progress against their timeline, you disconnect from your own path. Comparison isn't just unhealthy, it's exhausting. Because it's a battle you can't win. You're fighting for a version of yourself that's not even real, an ideal that belongs to someone else's story. And while you're busy comparing, you're not creating. While you're watching, you're not building. While you're envying, you're not evolving. The hidden cost of comparison. Every moment spent comparing is a moment stolen from your own focus, your own ideas, your own joy. Comparison takes your clarity, your confidence, your creativity, your ability to feel grateful. It convinces you that you're behind, even when you're right on time. And it tricks you into thinking someone else's journey is more valuable than your own, just because it looks better in a frame, or comes with more likes, or fits society's checklist. But here's the truth: you can't compare paths that were never meant to be the same. Why we compare? We compare because we've been trained to. From an early age. Who got the better grade? Who's faster, smarter, more talented? Who's more? And now as adults, we've taken that mindset and put it on digital steroids. With one scroll, we see someone's success, beauty, relationship, lifestyle, and purpose, all in a few seconds. And we judge ourselves in that same moment. But what we forget is that we're not seeing truth. We're seeing curation. We're not seeing effort. We're seeing end results. And we're not seeing the pain, the doubts, the nights of confusion that come with every real journey. You cannot compare your reality to someone else's illusion and expect to feel whole. How comparison leaks your energy. Comparison is a leak because it distracts you from your own priorities. It poisons your thoughts with self-doubt. It creates urgency around things that may not even matter to you. It tells you you're too late, too slow, too much, or not enough. And worst of all, it keeps you small. You stop showing up. You stop trying. You stop trusting yourself. The mind that's busy comparing has no space to create. Reclaim your power by returning to your lane. You don't need to be better than anyone. You need to be more aligned with yourself. Every life has a rhythm, a timeline, a unique code. And just because yours doesn't look like theirs doesn't mean it's wrong. Growth is not a race. Success is not a competition. And your worth is not on a scoreboard. The people you admire most? They became powerful by being themselves, not by copying anyone else. And you? You have something no one else ever will: your voice, your vision, your way. The more you focus on your own path, the clearer it becomes. How to stop comparing and start creating. Limit exposure. Reduce time on platforms or content that trigger comparison. You don't need to quit social media. You just need to curate it. Unfollow without guilt. If someone's content makes you feel small, not inspired, let it go. Your peace is more important than their updates. Celebrate others without diminishing yourself. Their success doesn't take away from yours. Clapping for someone else doesn't quiet your music. It makes the room louder. Practice presence. When you catch your mind wandering into comparison, come back to the moment. Ask, what do I have right now that matters? Track your growth. Keep a journal. Not of what others are doing, but of how far you've come. Let your past self be your only comparison. Affirm this truth often. I am not behind. I am exactly where I'm meant to be. Real confidence comes from within. Confidence doesn't come from having what others have. It comes from knowing who you are even when no one's watching. Comparison is rooted in fear, the fear that who you are is not enough. But when you reconnect to your values, your pace, your truth, that fear begins to lose its grip. You become grounded. Not because you're better than anyone, but because you finally stop trying to be someone else. Protecting your energy from comparison. Your energy thrives in focus, not in comparison. Focus brings flow. Flow brings peace. Peace brings power. Stay in your lane. Water your roots. Build what matters to you. The more you do, the less noise you'll hear. You'll stop chasing and start growing. When you stop looking left and right, you finally move forward. Don't measure your life by someone else's light. Build your own. Chapter 6. Silence is strength. Creating sacred space. Silence isn't empty. It's where you finally hear yourself. We live in a world that fears silence. We fill every quiet moment with noise, conversations, scrolling, background music, distractions. We fear stillness because it makes us feel alone, unproductive, disconnected. But that's a lie we've been sold. Silence is not a void. It's a container, a sacred one. It holds space for clarity, healing, creativity, and truth. The deeper your silence, the louder your inner wisdom becomes. The more stillness you allow, the more power you unlock. In a noisy world, choosing silence is a radical act of strength. Why the world distracts you? Every app, every platform, every screen is designed to hijack your attention. To keep your mind busy. To keep you consuming, reacting, jumping from one thing to the next. Because when you're constantly stimulated, you don't ask real questions. You don't pause to reflect. You don't reconnect with yourself. And most importantly, you don't resist. But silence? Silence breaks that spell. Silence brings you home. It's in the quiet that you begin to see what you truly want, what no longer fits, what you've been avoiding, and what you need to face. Silence is the place where you return to you. Think about it. When was the last time you sat in complete silence? No phone, no music, no multitasking, and just listened. Not to others. Not to podcasts. Not to content. But to yourself. Silence is where the mind slows down enough for the soul to speak. It's where truth rises to the surface, not the truth you've inherited from others, but your own. Without silence, you drift. You forget. You become reactive. You get swept into other people's currents. With silence, you return. You remember. You choose. What sacred space really means. Sacred space is not just a physical place, although it can be. It's an inner posture. It's a deliberate decision to withdraw from the world for a while and be with yourself fully. This space can look like 10 minutes of morning stillness before anyone else is awake. A phone-free walk in nature. A corner of your room with a journal and a candle. Sitting in your car with no music after a long day. A closed door and a clear mind. It's not about perfection. It's about intention. Sacred space doesn't mean removing all chaos. It means creating a bubble of stillness within it. A pocket of presence. A pause button. A reset. Why silence feels uncomfortable at first? If silence makes you anxious, that's a sign that you need more of it, not less. The discomfort comes because your mind has become addicted to stimulation. It's not used to slowing down. It's afraid of what it might find when there's nothing left to distract you. But silence isn't dangerous. It's the place where healing begins. It's the moment when your nervous system breathes again. It's the opening that leads to peace. Yes, it's vulnerable. Yes, it brings emotions to the surface. But what you feel in that silence is not the enemy. It's the unspoken part of you asking to be seen. Creating rituals of silence. Make silence a habit. A ritual. A rhythm. Here's how. Schedule it. Start with 5 to 10 minutes a day. Protect it like you would any important meeting. Set the tone. Choose a space that feels calming. No noise. No distractions. Just presence. Breathe. Anchor yourself in your breath. Let the inhale and exhale guide you into the moment. Let thoughts pass. You don't need to stop thinking. Just stop chasing. Watch the thoughts float by. Don't hold them. Don't judge them. Listen inward. Ask, what needs my attention today? Or, what truth have I been avoiding? Honor what comes. Whatever arises in that space. Emotion, insight, peace, treat it with respect. It's your soul speaking. What you gain from silence. When you create sacred space for silence, you regain mental clarity, emotional grounding, spiritual connection, physical calm, a deeper relationship with your true self. You stop reacting to life, and you start responding from a place of alignment. You stop living from the outside in, and start living from the inside out. Silence is where the noise ends, and real life begins. You don't need to escape the world forever. You just need regular spaces where the world can't touch you. Spaces where you're not performing, not pleasing, not proving, just being. The more you return to that space, the more powerful you become. Because in silence, you remember what you care about, what you believe in, what really matters, and who you are beneath all the noise. Try this today. Morning reset. Before you check your phone, sit for 5 minutes in silence. Let your thoughts settle like dust in still water. Create a silent hour, 1 hour a week with no digital input. Just space to exist, reflect, breathe. Replace noise with stillness, One walk, one task, or one meal each day, do it without any background noise. Let presence fill the silence. The world is loud, but your power grows in the quiet. Make space for silence, it's where you'll find what the noise tried to take. Chapter 7. Attention is the root of reality. Where your attention goes, your life follows. Your attention is the most valuable thing you own. Not your money, not your time, your attention. Because attention creates experience. What you focus on expands. What you give energy to grows. What you dwell on shapes how you feel, what you believe, and ultimately, what you become. Most people don't realize this. They move through life unaware that every moment, they're making silent decisions about what to pay attention to. And those decisions, unconscious as they may be, build your entire reality. If your attention is scattered, so is your life. If your attention is focused on what's wrong, what's missing, or what others are doing, you'll feel restless, anxious, and empty. But if your attention is directed with intention, clarity, and care, your reality begins to align with your deepest values. Your world is not just what happens around you. Your world is what you choose to see. The war for your attention. We live in an attention economy. Everything is designed to capture your gaze, your mind, your focus. Platforms, notifications, media, entertainment, all competing for your most powerful resource. And here's the terrifying truth. If you don't choose what to pay attention to, someone else will choose for you. Your feed isn't neutral. It's engineered. It's curated to pull you into loops of distraction, outrage, consumption, and comparison. Not because it's evil, but because that's what keeps you engaged. You are the product. Your attention is the currency. So the question is, who's spending it? Are you directing it, or reacting to what's being shown? Attention shapes emotion. Your thoughts don't exist in isolation. They're triggered by what you focus on. Focus on fear? You'll feel anxious. Focus on lack? You'll feel insecure. Focus on gratitude? You'll feel full. Focus on purpose? You'll feel alive. The same situation can create totally different emotions, depending on your attention. A rainy day can feel like a ruin or a reset, depending on what you focus on. Attention is not just observation. It's creation. You are building your mood, your story, and your self-perception through the lens of your attention. The danger of passive focus. Most people treat attention passively. They don't direct it. They let it wander, jump, get hijacked. Wake up, check phone, get sucked in. Sit down to work, 10 tabs open, jump between them. Feel a difficult emotion, scroll to numb. And by the end of the day, they wonder why they feel scattered, frustrated, or lost. It's not a mystery. It's attention fragmentation. Your brain was not designed to multifocus. It thrives when it zooms in, locks in, and stays. Not indefinitely, but long enough to go deep instead of just wide. Choosing what to feed. Imagine your mind as a garden. What you water, grows. If you feed it negativity, it blooms into bitterness. If you feed it gossip, it blooms into judgment. If you feed it gratitude, it blooms into peace. If you feed it focus, it blooms into clarity. This isn't metaphorical. This is literal neuroscience. Your attention patterns build neural pathways, the highways your brain uses to think, feel, and act. Every time you focus on something, you reinforce it. Attention is the ultimate repetition. And repetition becomes identity. So again, what are you feeding? Practice attention discipline. If you want to protect your energy, you have to train your attention. Not perfectly. Not all day. But with increasing awareness. Start here. Single tasking over multitasking. Focus on one thing. Even for 10 to 15 minutes. Put everything else away. Let that be your entire world for that window. Mindful inputs. Audit your media, your music, your conversations, your environment. Does it support the state of mind you want to live in? Catch yourself drifting. Not with judgment, but with awareness. Ask, is this where I want to be? And gently return. Anchor your focus with intention. Begin the day with one clear question: what deserves my attention today? Let that guide you. The ROI of attention. Here's what happens when you train your attention. You become calmer. You stop reacting to every little thing. You feel more in control. You find joy in simple things. You get more done in less time. You connect more deeply with others and with yourself. This isn't just about productivity. It's about presence. And presence is where life happens. If you're always elsewhere, in your mind, your screen, your stress, you miss the moment. And the moment is all you ever have. Reclaiming your inner world. Your reality isn't something out there. It's constructed in here, moment, by what you choose to notice, believe, and dwell on. This means you have more power than you've been told. You don't need to change the entire world to feel peace. You just need to change what you give your attention to. Let go of what steals it. Reclaim it. And watch your inner world begin to stabilize. Try this today. 3 times a day, pause and ask, where's my attention right now? Shift it if needed. Gently. No shame. Celebrate every small moment of presence. Every time you choose focus over noise. Protect your attention, and you protect your mind. What you focus on becomes your life, so choose wisely. Chapter 8. The energy of relationships. Who feeds you and who drains you? The people you allow close to you shape your energy more than you think. You can eat clean, meditate daily, and set the perfect morning routine, but if you're constantly surrounded by people who drain you, your energy will still feel heavy, scattered, and off. Your relationships are not just emotional connections, they're energetic ecosystems. Every person in your life either adds to your energy or subtracts from it. They either help you rise, or quietly keep you stuck. And because you're human, you often tolerate far more than you should. You excuse behavior that drains you. You hold on to people you've outgrown. You let guilt, loyalty, or fear stop you from making the hard but necessary choice to protect your space. But here's the truth, you don't just need love in your life, you need aligned energy. Love without respect, love without growth, love without reciprocity will break you. Your circle is your mirror. Who you surround yourself with matters more than you realize. Because energy is contagious. Not metaphorically, neurologically. When you're around people who complain, your brain begins to scan for problems. When you're around people who inspire, your brain begins to scan for possibilities. When you're around people who doubt themselves, your confidence starts to leak. When you're around people who take bold action, your courage sharpens. Your circle is a silent teacher. It's shaping your mindset, your habits, and your emotional baseline every single day. So ask yourself, are the people around me lighting my fire or dimming it? The subtle signs of energy drainers. Not all draining relationships are dramatic. Some are subtle. They don't scream, they slowly suffocate. Look for these signs. You feel tense before interacting with them. You leave the conversation feeling depleted or small. They constantly need something, but rarely show up when you need something. They gossip, judge, or bring negativity into every situation. You feel like you're shrinking to stay comfortable around them. You find yourself pretending, performing, or pleasing, instead of just being. These relationships don't just waste your time. They cost you peace, clarity, and self-trust. Why you tolerate draining connections? It's not because you're weak. It's because you've been conditioned to feel responsible for others' feelings. Confuse love with sacrifice. Fear being alone more than being unfulfilled. Think boundaries are mean or selfish. But here's the truth. You are not responsible for fixing anyone's emotional wounds. Love is not meant to exhaust you. Loneliness is a temporary discomfort, but a misaligned connection is a long-term drain. Boundaries don't hurt relationships, they reveal which ones are real. The power of aligned relationships. When you're around the right people, everything changes. You feel seen, not judged. Heard, not managed. Energized, not drained. Inspired, not manipulated. Safe enough to be fully yourself, not edited or filtered. You don't have to overthink or defend yourself. You don't have to shrink. You don't have to question your worth after every interaction. Aligned relationships feed your nervous system, restore your emotional baseline, and remind you who you really are. Audit your circle with honesty. This doesn't mean you need to cut everyone off. It means you get honest about who energizes you, who exhausts you, who respects your boundaries, who drains your time, attention, or spirit. This is not about judgment. It's about alignment. Some people aren't bad, they're just no longer your people. And that's okay. The version of you that tolerated them may have needed them. But the version you're becoming needs something deeper. How to protect your energy in relationships. Set clear boundaries. Don't answer every message. Don't engage in drama. Don't explain yourself 20 times. Silence is a boundary. Create space to reflect. After every interaction, ask, do I feel lighter or heavier? Let that answer guide your future decisions. Stop trying to save people who don't want to grow. You are not their solution. You are your own responsibility. Invest more time in relationships that nourish you. Don't just cut energy vampires, nurture energy expanders. Be willing to let go. If a connection is costing you your joy, your focus, your stability, it's not worth the price. Relationships should be refueling stations, not repair shops. People don't have to be perfect. But they should honor your peace. They should respect your growth. They should want to see you thrive, even when your thriving doesn't serve them. Your energy is sacred. And if you keep placing it in hands that fumble it, you'll always feel fractured. Start choosing differently. Try this today. Write 2 lists. People who energize you. People who deplete you. Be brutally honest. Schedule more time with the people who energize you. Even if it's a 10-minute call. Take space from one draining relationship, even if just for a few days. Notice how your energy shifts. Protecting your energy doesn't mean shutting people out. It means choosing who gets to stay close. Not everyone deserves access to the version of you that's building peace. Chapter 9. Reclaiming stillness in a world that won't stop. The world moves fast. But you don't have to. Everything today is built for speed, faster information, faster opinions, faster communication, faster living. We're told that if we're not moving quickly, we're falling behind. If we're not doing more, we're not enough. But here's the truth. Speed doesn't equal progress. Busyness doesn't equal purpose. And more doesn't equal better. Somewhere along the way, we lost stillness. We lost the quiet rhythm of being. The space between actions. The depth between thoughts. The pause that lets us feel, reflect, reconnect. Stillness has become rare, and because it's rare, it's powerful. The illusion of momentum. We're constantly bombarded with the idea that we must be doing something, anything, to prove we're worthy, successful, valuable. Productivity is worshipped. Rest is treated like a weakness. Stillness? That's laziness, right? But take a step back and really look. People are busier than ever. They're moving faster than ever. And yet, they're more anxious, more lost, and more disconnected than ever. Because motion without direction is just spinning. Activity without alignment is just noise. And you can't find clarity while running from yourself. Stillness is not the enemy. Stillness is the cure. What stillness actually is. Stillness isn't the absence of movement. It's the presence of depth. It's not about doing nothing. It's about doing one thing fully, consciously, from a place of peace. Stillness is closing your eyes and feeling your breath, walking without headphones and listening to the wind, drinking coffee without scrolling, writing without distraction, sitting with a feeling instead of avoiding it. It's letting your nervous system stop bracing, letting your thoughts slow down, letting yourself be without rushing to the next thing. In stillness, you find answers. You hear your intuition. You reconnect to your values. You remember what actually matters. Why stillness is hard. Stillness is simple but not easy. Especially today. Because we're addicted to distraction. We've trained our minds to expect constant input. We've normalized overstimulation. And when we stop, really stop, we feel anxious, restless, exposed. But these aren't signs something is wrong. They're signs of detox. Your mind is adjusting to peace. Your system is coming back to baseline. You're not breaking, you're healing. You don't need to escape the world, just slow your part in it. People think they need a cabin in the mountains or a digital detox retreat to find stillness. But that's a lie. Stillness is not about location. It's about intention. You can find it in the busiest city. You can find it in a crowded house. You can find it in a moment, if you claim it. Because stillness isn't around you. It's inside you. The question is, will you make room for it? How to practice stillness daily. You don't need hours. You need intention. Start with these small practices. Morning presence. Before reaching for your phone, sit up, breathe, and ask, how do I feel right now? Just that awareness is stillness. Micro pauses. Before switching tasks, close your eyes for 10 seconds. Let the breath reset you. Let the mind settle. One task focus. Choose one task per day to do in silence. Fully. No background noise. No multitasking. Let it be meditative. Stillness before sleep. 5 minutes of breathing. No screens. Just you and silence. Let your day exhale with you. Scheduled slowness. Block time in your calendar not for tasks, but for nothing. Use that time to walk, think, rest, or reflect. What happens when you slow down? Something amazing happens when you embrace stillness. Your stress lowers. Your creativity returns. Your emotional clarity sharpens. You make better decisions. You start feeling like yourself again. Because you're no longer reacting, you're responding. You're no longer rushing through life, you're living it. Stillness isn't something you earn after the work is done. Stillness is what allows you to work better, to live better, to feel better. Stillness creates space for energy to return. You can't refill a cup that's constantly pouring. You can't hear your soul if your mind never shuts up. You can't move forward with clarity if you never stop to feel where you are. Stillness is your return point. It's where you meet yourself again, where your values rise, where your thoughts reset, where your truth becomes clear. It's where energy flows back in. Try this today. Pick one task today to do without noise. No background music. No phone. Just presence. At the end of the day, sit in stillness for 5 minutes. Breathe. Ask, what mattered today? Start noticing the moments where your body says slow down, and honor it. Stillness isn't where nothing happens. It's where everything begins. Make room for silence. That's where the noise ends and clarity begins. Chapter 10. Live Light. Aligning your energy with what matters. You weren't meant to carry everything. You were meant to carry what matters. At the end of it all, protecting your energy isn't just about boundaries, silence, or digital detoxes. It's about living light. Living from the inside out. Letting go of what's not yours to carry, and coming home to what truly matters. You didn't come here to please everyone. You didn't come here to hustle endlessly. You didn't come here to perform, to prove, or to collect shiny distractions. You came here to be alive. Deeply. Fully. Authentically. And that means making a decision every single day to choose clarity over noise, simplicity over chaos, and alignment over obligation. Living light is not about having less. It's about carrying less of what weighs down your spirit. The heavy things we carry. Most people are exhausted, not just from doing too much, but from carrying too much that isn't theirs. Expectations they didn't choose. Roles they didn't ask for. Guilt that doesn't serve growth. Stories that don't reflect their truth. Emotions they inherited but never questioned. We carry all of this, and then wonder why we feel so tired, so lost, so disconnected. But the truth is, you're not tired because you're weak, you're tired because you're carrying the wrong weight. Lightness comes from alignment. When your outer life reflects your inner truth, something shifts. You stop second-guessing. You stop performing. You stop saying yes out of fear. You start living from intention. You start acting from clarity. You start choosing from love, not lack. That's alignment. And alignment is what lightness feels like in the body. It's a calm nervous system. It's an unclenched jaw. It's space in your calendar, and even more space in your mind. Alignment isn't passive. It's a daily commitment, a sacred discipline, a personal vow to only say yes to what your soul can carry with grace. What it means to live light. To live light is to say no without guilt. Slow down without apology. Create without seeking validation. Rest without proving you've earned it. Disconnect to reconnect. Let go of people, projects, or patterns that no longer reflect your truth. It's not selfish. It's sovereign. It's choosing you, not as a rejection of others, but as a devotion to your own aliveness. The art of shedding. Every stage of growth requires release. The life you want doesn't just require effort, it requires space. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to that feels heavy? What belief no longer fits the person I'm becoming? Who am I trying to impress, and why? What am I doing simply because I always have? Now ask, what would it feel like to put that down? That is the beginning of living light. Rewriting your energy contract. You get to decide what stays in your life. You get to decide who gets access to your mind, your heart, your time. You get to rewrite the rules. Your new contract sounds like this. I no longer perform for approval. I protect my peace like it's sacred, because it is. If it doesn't align, it doesn't enter. My energy is my responsibility, and I choose to spend it wisely. You stop giving your light to people who can't hold it. You stop over-explaining your boundaries. You stop chasing things that steal your clarity. And in return, you gain yourself. Your energy is a resource, not a weapon. Too often we use our energy to survive. But when we shift from survival to intention, our energy becomes something else entirely. It becomes a source of peace, a creative force, a quiet revolution, a home. The world won't slow down, but you can. The noise won't stop, but you can choose stillness. The expectations won't disappear, but you can rise above them by going deeper within. Try this today. Make a let-go list. Write down 3 things: people, beliefs, habits that no longer serve you. Let one of them go, even symbolically. Create a what matters filter. Before saying yes to anything, ask, does this nourish my peace, my purpose, or my values? If not, it's a no. Breathe deeply and slowly. 5 minutes. Just your breath. Nothing else. Let lightness fill you with each exhale. Final reminder. You were never meant to live burned out, distracted, or buried under everyone else's noise. You were meant to be clear, present, alive, aligned. You protect your energy by choosing what honors your truth and releasing the rest. This is your power. This is your path. This is how you live light. You don't have to carry it all. You just have to carry what's yours. The lighter you travel, the further you go, in peace, in purpose, in power. Blue Book, thank you for walking this journey. If this audiobook resonated with you, revisit it. Reflect on it. Let it become a living practice, not just something you heard, but something you embody. Your energy is sacred. Protect it. Honor it. Live light.